Yo, it's Chris, and I'm here today with what I think is a pretty good story for one of the first videos on the channel. So, this is about my first time ever tripping on psychedelic mushrooms and how I almost died. So, let's get started. Yo, disclaimer by the way, don't do anything I say in these videos. Everything here is for educational and entertainment purposes. Thank you. Just had to edit that in real quick. So, this takes place in freshman year of high school, actually. So, kind of early, relatively. And this story takes place with my brother and two of our friends. We'll call them Tim and fucking Andy. So, me and my brother are chilling at our house, and we tell Tim, we're like, yo, like, pull up, like, let's do some shit. It's Saturday, like, I don't know, we're bored, whatever. So, Tim pulls up, and we're chilling at my house, and Andy texts us, and he's like, y'all should come over. And so at the time, like, most of my friends are juniors, so a lot of them have their licenses, they can drive. So we hop in Tim's car and we drive to Andy's house. And so we're chilling there, you know, we don't know what to do. We're like, should we go get food? Like, what should we really do? There's nothing really to do right now, especially in the city. It's kind of boring. Everything closes early too. So we're kind of just like chilling there, like, what should we do? Andy has a pretty decent idea. He's like, let's just get some weed. Let's cop some weed. Let's smoke. Let's, you know, have some fun getting faded. And Tim is like, so Tim's the one that's like hooked us up with like the plug and stuff. And so Tim, he's like, yo, so I saw on the plug, I saw on his Telegram, like, he actually has mushrooms right now if y'all are down to try some of that shit. And so my brother and Tim and Andy have all tried mushrooms in like shroom bars, and I haven't at this time, but at this time they had tried it in like shroom bars and shit, so they'd had like a little bit of a trip, but they hadn't had like real mushrooms. And I think at the time Tim had tried like acid a couple times, so, you know, he's kind of experienced in this shit more than the rest of us. So he's like, yeah, it won't be that bad, let's just cop some mushrooms, let's have a nice trip and shit. And like, we're like, all right, bet, we're down, like, sounds fun. Except Andy, he like didn't really want to for some reason. He didn't feel like it, so he just smoked a fuck ton that night. So we drive up to this like random ass parking lot in this restaurant parking lot, and the plug pulls up with the shrooms and the weed, and he's a G. He throws in some free weed and a little bit of free shrooms on top because we just bought a bunch of weed and shrooms. And so we drive back to Andy's house with the drugs safely secured, and we're like, so Tim, like, how do we take these? Do we just eat them? Like, what do we do? And so he's like heard online about like the lime juice strat, where you like put them in the lime juice and makes them like more effective or all that bullshit. But for some reason he got it confused and he thought it was orange juice. So Tim's like, we gotta crush them up and put them in orange juice and then drink it. And so since it's my first trip, they gave me like 2 grams, probably 2.5, and they all took like 3 or 3.5. Tim and my brother. And so they go get some orange juice out of Andy's fridge, and they start pouring it up and crushing shrooms in the fridge to us. And he's like, you gotta let it like marinate for a second so the shrooms can get in the juice and stuff. So we're waiting for this shit, and I decide, like, Andy has a cart on him too, and so I decide to start like chiefing that cart. So I'm like faded by the time that Tim says like, oh yeah, we can like drink the shroom orange juice concoction now. So we drink that shit, and that is the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my body. I almost threw up just from drinking that shit. Holy fuck, that was like, ugh. Anyways, so we drink that shit, we get that shit down, and then we're like waiting for this shit to kick in. And so there's like a CVS in like walkable-ish distance from Andy's house, probably like 2 or 3 miles. So we're like, let's go walk to CVS, and like, we had nothing to smoke out of at the time because we forgot to get papers. So we're like, let's go walk to CVS and get an apple, and like, we can like do an apple bowl, you know, the regular apple bowl, the good old reliable. And so we're like, I don't really think we should drive. Like, what if the shrooms kick in while we're driving? We're all kind of faded too, you know, like, I don't really think we should like risk that right now. So we walk, and we start walking. We get to the front of like Andy's neighborhood, where we walk out on the main street, and dude, Tim starts being like, oh fuck, dude, and like, he has a fast ass metabolism, so this shit's kicking in for him, and he's like, oh fuck, dude, I'm tweaking, like, shit. And so like he's tripping, and like while we're walking I start tripping. And I remember like right when I first started tripping on the shit, I like was standing there staring at a light at the front of some other neighborhood we passed for like 5 minutes, and they all got way ahead of me, and I had to run to catch up because I just remember this light just looked so cool. So anyways, we get up to the CVS. We've walked like 2 or 3 miles up here, and the fucking CVS was closed. We couldn't go in there, so we had to cross this busy ass road to this gas station across the road. And we're like, all right, hopefully they fucking sell apples and lighters and shit. Obviously they sell lighters, but hopefully they sell apples. So we go in there, and I remember I'm tweaking, and the lights just fucked with me in there, but I'm like running into shit and like seeing shit. And we get an apple and a lighter, and we're all like struggling to talk to the people there. So it was most definitely obvious that we were buying that shit to smoke too. An apple and a lighter, like damn. So we get the apple and the lighter, we start walking back, and the entire walk back, like the 3-mile walk back, I'm just staring at the sky. Dude, the clouds, they were doing some cool shit, bro. Like the clouds, I was seeing faces in all the clouds, and like it would have usually been scary, but it wasn't, because I was in this like happy ass mood because of the shrooms. So I'm looking at these like faces in the sky, and like I keep seeing faces and everything. I look at bushes, there's faces in it, but they're like cool faces. Like I was like, damn, those faces are like some chill ass faces. So so we're like, I'm like looking at these, and they keep asking me like, Jack, why are you looking at the sky so much? And I'm like, dude, like it just looks so cool. All these faces are like looking at me, and they're like so chill, and they're so cool to look at and stuff. And anyways, we get back to the front of Andy's neighborhood. And he's like, damn, I didn't bring the weed, so we gotta like walk back to my house real quick and then walk back up here. So we walk back to his house, and we're sitting in front of his house while he goes in to get the weed, me and Tim. And dude, Tim just starts like crying, talking about like he's having this whole emotional ass trip. He starts crying. He's like, dude, I love you guys. Like, dude, she was low-key funny, but I like felt bad. I didn't know what to say to him because he's like having this whole emotion. Dude, this is like a life-changing experience, and he's talking about like, I love you guys. Like, we don't say that enough, dude. And he was talking about, dude, I love my parents, like I love everyone, like I just want to go like, yeah, whatever. He's doing all that shit. And so then Andy gets back out with the weed and my brother, and we're like, all right, let's go walk up to the front, smoke the shit. We can go chill in the hot tub. Maybe like there's a gym at the front, we can mess around in there if we want. So we go up there, and we're all tripping except Andy, and he's high as fuck. So like he's like kind of on our level at this point. So we're just chilling up there, and we're lighting up, smoking the tree out of this apple bowl, and we're getting faded. And we go into the little gym at the front of his neighborhood. And dude, I remember while I was up there, I was like checking Instagram, and my Instagram got hacked. And like I had no idea what was happening, but like it kept texting people that shit about like, click this link and log in, whatever. You know how like the Instagram hacks work. So I don't know how I got hacked, because I never clicked those links, but I remember I got hacked and I didn't know what to do, and I was like, dude, I'll just figure this shit out later when I'm not tweaking anymore. And so we went over to the hot tub, and this is the part where I literally almost died, and Tim had to save me, bro. We're chilling in the hot tub for a while, and I keep going underwater, looking like underwater, and this is so cool. And it was like the most chill, like best feeling ever, and I forget to breathe, and I just fell asleep under the water because it just felt so nice. And they told me, they're like, damn, Chris hasn't talked in a while, like what the hell is going on with him? And they look over, and I'm just sleeping under the fucking water, not breathing. I've been under there for like 2 minutes. And so fucking Tim comes over, and he rescues me out the water, and I was like, damn, bro, I forgot to breathe, I fell asleep. And shit, bro, I was like coughing up water and shit, dude. That was funny. And that was, but it was not funny for them. They're talking about like they were scared out of their minds that I was gonna die and shit. And oh my god. And so they're like, all right, you are not getting in the hot tub anymore. Go sit over there in that chair while we chill in the hot tub. But they were kind of done with that anyways. So we go back into this little gym, and we start kind of working out, but not really, because we're all like tweaking. We don't really know what we're doing. And this was before any of us really hit the gym that much. We weren't that big on the gym yet. So we're all kind of just messing around in this gym up there. And I remember going into the bathroom and just looking myself in the eyes in the mirror, and I could not stop laughing, bro. Like, I don't know, it wasn't even funny. I wasn't even seeing that much shit on my face, but like I was just looking at my face and just laughing my ass off. Like, dude, it was so weird. And so then we walk back to Andy's house, and I'm sleeping on the floor in Andy's room because we don't feel like inflating the air mattress. And then Tim and my brother are sleeping on the sofa out in the living room. And then at like, I don't know why his mom wasn't home, but his mom was not home. So we were home alone still. And so I'm like tweaking, laying there, this trip's getting kind of bad because I'm laying there and like I'm hearing shit. Like I'm hearing like big ass like bass music in my ears, even though there's no music. And like it was really getting annoying. But anytime I like said anything or I was like breathing too loud, Andy was like trying to sleep and he kept getting mad at me. He's like, Jack, shut up, I'm trying to sleep. Because he's like faded, he's trying to have this peaceful sleep. And so I'm just laying there, I'm like, damn, what felt like a couple hours, but it was really like 15 minutes. And then Tim comes in there and he's like, Chris, you know what'd be fucking gas right now? Some music. So dude, we at 4 in the morning, or like 3:30 in the morning, we dip out of Andy's house without him. He's sleeping, me, my brother, and Tim, and we go sit in the car and listen to music. And it was like a surreal experience. This was a life-changing experience. We just listened to music and on full blast in this car in the middle of the night, and it was so nice. I remember we were listening to like Tim's music, and he listens to like heavily like Uzi and stuff, so we were just listening to some like Uzi, like vibing in that car, just like talking and shit. And that was like one of the best experiences of my life, honestly. So anyways, it's like 5 o'clock when we realized that our headlights have been shining in this person's window because their lights turn on, and we're like, shit. And so we turn off the car and we go back into Andy's house, and we're kind of like going down now. We're not really tripping that much anymore. Oh, I remember before we went back inside, my brother's like, I should try to drive, like as a joke, and we were like, do it. So we start driving around the neighborhood, but we almost crashed, bro. That shit it's like the second time I almost died that night. Then we go back in the house and we go to sleep, and we wake up the next day, we're like, damn, that was a life-changing experience. And we still talk about that shit to this day. Like, that shit was life-changing. I'm not like encouraging anyone to try this shit, but like, if you're into that, like, as long as you're in the right state of mind, that shit is some cool stuff. Anyways, that was fun. We talk about that to this day, and how that was like a life-changing experience. That was our first real trip, and together especially, it was really fun. So that's really the end of the story, but you know, I got more stories like that and more to come, and so does my boy Gavin, so we'll see what comes up on the channel later. Anyway, subscribe and, you know, all that good shit, and I'll see you guys next time.